Hello. Today's session is on how manufacturers are digitizing to innovate faster and adapt in an ever-changing world. I want to focus today on accelerating innovation and increasing competitiveness through digitization. My name is John Varkas, and I'm with the Industry Strategy Group here at Oracle. He who hesitates is lost. This is a very fitting proverb for today's day and age, especially as it relates to digitization. Those companies that had digitized early were much better prepared and in many instances gained significant market share over their competition. And those that were not as prepared are now rapidly trying to catch up, which really leads us to this new trend of accelerating change. Change has always happened, but that pace of change is significantly greater than previously because of new enabling technologies and all of the recent challenges that we've had with the pandemic, with nationalism, with new regulations and other activities. But the reality is, in every one of those instances, the impact of not doing so quickly or not doing so as fast as your competition or faster has really put companies at a major disadvantage. And so companies really do need to focus now on how do you become more resilient? How do you adapt to these changing conditions, and how do you do it in a way that's faster than your competition? How do you become more agile? How do you innovate faster? How do you do more and better scenario planning so you can actually look at the alternatives and get real-time information, be able to execute on those alternatives with facts? And the answer that companies have gone through and identified to solve these problems is really around transforming their businesses digitally. And companies are significantly more successful, they're able to do that because by tying all of the pieces together, via this, I'll call it a digital thread, and then leveraging advanced technologies to help you to stay connected and make better decisions, really allows you to automate your business and become much more effective. I'm going to focus on 4 areas of digitization. The first is around a digital platform. This is really the foundational component to allow your digital strategy to be successful. The second is around advanced technologies. Companies that make the most of advanced technologies are the ones that are going to become more successful into the future. And then around accelerating innovation. This isn't only around products and services, but it's around accelerating innovation across your business. And then developing and supporting an agile supply chain that allows you to adapt to the changing conditions and challenges that are happening in the market. So the digital platform. This is one of the key fundamental drivers for the success of your digitization program, to be able to tie together the applications and the technologies that you have in order to be able to make better decisions, to be able to automate business processes, and to be able to have timely information and to allow you to do more active scenario planning really leads to increased revenue growth and decreased costs. And of course, Oracle has an integrated digital cloud platform that can help you support your innovation and your growth. It really provides the end-to-end capabilities to support your current business needs, but also provides the platform to support the needs into the future. We support all of the major business functions, including CX, where it's important to be able to accelerate business growth by really enabling better relationship with your customers. In addition to that, to be able to support new business models. It's this new connected world where we come along, where we actually move more away from products and move more towards services. You need to be able to support these and do so on a common platform. In addition, an end-to-end transparency around your ERP and your enterprise performance management systems provides you better financial planning, better scenario planning, the capability to adapt to changing conditions and requirements. And then to have a resilient supply chain ties these pieces together, tie back to, so I can have integrated business planning back with the ERP and tie back into direct sales forecasting through the CX platform. And then all these pieces need to be tied together through a common human capital resource management so that I have the right skills and resources available to execute these business processes and changing business models throughout my business. And then finally, to leverage a technology that really builds upon the differentiators that enable your business to allow you to innovate in the areas where it's critical and then tie that back into your applications. What we're going to hear from now is 3 customers that really started their digital transformation early, Coho, Broadcom, and Western Digital.
We serve the everyday user who wants to just capture those special moments on camera, all the way through to the scientific discoveries.
The business was in a growth mode. They were looking at how are they strategically going to find the next acquisition.
Western Digital is bringing 3 Fortune 500 size companies together. We needed a next generation solution. We did an inventory and there were 2,000 plus applications across these 3 companies.
Before Broadcom acquired Rocket Communications, Broadcom was largely a company that designs and manufactures chips components. When you come to dealing with a piece of equipment with over 400 different components that goes into it, 6 sub-assembly levels, you're going to need a way to manage changes, implementation, and changes for its entire life cycle.
We wanted a streamlined process. We wanted something end-to-end from the point you capture the data to the point you want to report out the data.
From an IT strategy, I basically had 5 simple principles. Come up with an affordable solution, flexible solution, integrated solution, a scalable solution, and a transparent solution. Oracle was the answer.
The PLM process is much better, as in now I have a solution. I have a solution that can scale, can handle products of complexities from chips, high volume semiconductor chips, to complex devices.
So we have operational reporting that's real time, and then we have analytical reporting, which is available within 20 minutes, which is unheard of.
It's faster time to information. Those decisions are easier and they're based on more data than they were a year ago.
We love innovation, we love new technology, we love the cloud, and it just felt natural for us to move forward with Oracle.
With the Oracle solution in place, we are positioned to scale successfully for all the future acquisitions.
So the next area that I want to talk about is the impact of transformational technologies. I think it's key that people realize, companies realize, how important this will be to your business future. It used to be a few years ago, companies would talk about IoT, and now it's just becoming standard where companies are executing it. They're really connecting their businesses, but that connectivity is creating all new challenges. What do they do with all of this extra data? And this combination of digital technologies really helps their companies to be able to reduce costs and increase revenue. However, not all technologies are created equal. Some are more apt to be able to help support your revenue growth by helping to enable brand new business models. And others are helped to be able to reduce your costs by improving automations and visibility and execution across your portfolio. But about 89% of these are really failing to realize that the full value of really taking a combined approach, of looking across these technologies to be able to embed them and execute them in order to have more efficient businesses. And so one of the things that we see is that there are really 3 critical technologies that are important to digital transformation at the moment. The first of is IoT, and this is really critical in order to get that connectivity. Connectivity to your customers, connectivity to your machines, connectivity across your supply chain. And then AI, because now with all that increased data, I need to be able to do something with it. And I need some help in order to manipulate and manage that data. And AI, ML are really one mechanism of doing so. And then cloud computing. Cloud computing provides that flexibility to be able to execute these applications in a very quick and fast manner. In addition to that, really allow you to innovate on a continual basis, something that wasn't possible in the on-premise world. And so the most mature companies are not just investing in these technologies, but they're also upgrading their ERP, their MES, their PLM systems, and tying these systems together and integrating these applications, as well as training their employees and be able to mapping out brand new workflows that really enable brand new parts of their business. This is the important key component for companies to be able to move quickly and to be able to adapt to changing conditions and requirements. Next, what I'd like you to listen to is Missy Rogers. Missy's going to talk to us a little bit about all of her preparation that their company went through at Noble Plastics and in digitizing their business, and all the impact of the last year, and then how they're able to pull through with that. Missy?
A couple of years ago, we began our digital transformation journey, and the first focus was to put actionable data in the hands of our production staff. The core of this system is the Oracle IoT platform and the asset monitoring cloud application. In this unprecedented year, we had challenges with the pandemic, our labor force, and growth. As a small shop, people are used to tapping one another on the shoulder to get help. This platform allows us to put in the palm of their hands the request wherever in the building or remotely they might be. Our digital platform allowed our team to communicate while working remotely, maintaining social distance, and provided a level of transparency to customers less able to travel or visit. We're forecasting record revenue growth this year, and I know we'll face challenges in the labor market and supply chain, but our choice to make a digital transformation means I'll have the best data, fastest, to make those decisions. Too many times, data lives in an organization on the management or corporate side, and the only impact it has to the organization is after the fact. Putting real-time data in the hands of frontline workers empowers them to make decisions and actually affect the outcomes. Our use of the Oracle IoT tools has enabled us to connect our business and make better, faster decisions. Noble's committed to continue our digital transformation journey because we've seen the impact it has to our staff, and we believe that moving forward, it will continue to be a key part of our success.
Thank you, Missy. The next area that I want to talk to you about is innovation. Innovation is critical for companies, especially for them to adapt to these new, changing requirements and be able to stay ahead of the competition. But one of the challenges is that for many companies, their innovation strategies are misaligned with their business objectives and their goals. And so one of those areas that you could see here in these statistics here is like 71% of companies said that their company's growth relies on their ability to challenge and disrupt any business norm, which means that they know that these business challenges are going to occur, but they just don't believe that they can react to them as quickly as they would like. And 54% realize that they struggle to align innovation strategy with their business strategy. The two don't coincide with each other. And 64% believe that their efforts to convert ideas into new products are not as effective as they would want them to be. And really only 37% believe that their operating model and their operations are aligned to the purpose, right? And that purpose is really what's driving maybe potentially new business models, new opportunities to serve their customers. The key is to be able to accelerate innovation for next business models by leveraging a platform to do so. You need to look across your entire enterprise and leverage a digital thread to tie together the various aspects of your innovation cycle so that you are innovating the right ideas, you're innovating them in a timely manner, and you're actually taking feedback from every aspect of your business. And that includes through the planning process, the producing process, the service process. You need to have the voice of the product, the voice of the factory, voice of the customer, be able to tie all these together, leveraging advanced technology to provide that connectivity so you're getting real-time input into each of these aspects of your innovation cycle. And by doing so, you're able to accelerate product service innovation, have the latest products and service available to your customers. You're able to optimize business process innovation so that the processes are the most efficient, the most applicable that can be possible. And then the third area is really around maximizing the experience innovation. How is it that the customer perceives your product or your service? And then all of these tied together help you to be able to enable business model innovation. So I can actually evolve my organization in a way that provides the most competitive differentiators that I can. And this integrated supply chain platform really helps you to enhance that agility, your innovation, your resiliency across your supply chain. I can actually enable complete end-to-end business processes from plan to produce, source to settle, order to cash, maintain to optimize, lead to commercialize. These are all elements of my business that by automation, I can help to minimize some of the latency associated with that by leveraging a common data set. I can actually make good decisions. I have the right information to make the decisions as they're necessary. What I'd like to do now is introduce you to C.W. Fong from Cisco. C.W. has been in charge of a lot of the digitization processes and activities at Cisco, and he has a great story to tell. C.W.
Hi, my name is C.W. Fong. I'm part of the supply chain transformation team in Cisco system. I'm responsible for the cloud discovery and cloud migration, but I have been part of the whole supply chain digitization to orchestration team throughout. What I'm trying to share with you today is really how manufacturers are digitizing to innovate faster, and how do we adapt faster in the ever-changing world. The biggest challenges that we have seen in the past is really about digitizing the process with the data into a platform based on the functional requirements. If you look at the way we started, right, maybe 10 years ago, is to take the process and start digitizing using the data, each of the function, and try to put analytics on top to analyze the data and also be able to connect the process together. Now, with the pandemic that we have seen last year, right, the team actually went to their own platform to query the data, and then because the data are in the islands of data, so they have to join the data together. So a lot of times we practice a manual process to join the data together using Excel file, for example, right? This becoming a long latency to find the impact due to the pandemic shutdown. Okay, so we need to replicate all the critical data into a single platform for the analytics to be done. Unfortunately, a lot of these application and tools are heavily customized on the on-prem. Hence, we have to use a workflow to connect all the functional roles together because of these challenges with the islands, many platforms of islands of data. That actually leads to a higher cost and lead time to develop customized solution and manage the on-prem infrastructure and software. With this, we would like to move into the solution that we are working on right now. First thing is that we are focusing on the common data model, where all the critical data from both the master data all the way to planning data to supply data to transaction data all are resided into one place. So whenever there's an event that hits supply chain, we're always able to look at all the data sets and be able to thread through the data together and find the impact assessment very quickly. We have been fortunate to partner with Oracle in terms of evolving this, not just only digitizing the process, but more towards how do we orchestrate the entire supply chain. We have been developing an event orchestration framework with Oracle by routing events with the payload using the publishing and subscriber framework. And this is a very simplified framework that we can keep all the data in one place and be able to have every single companies to be able to use their own data in real time and be able to do the impact assessment upon the event triggering. The intention is really to orchestrate events with the external ecosystem partners like contract manufacturer, the component suppliers, the customers, the logistics carriers, and so on. Our goal is to reduce the business latency to make decisions and increase the business value to deliver zero latency supply chain. This zero latency supply chain is a truly remarkable concept. It's really focusing on how do we reduce the business latency and increase the business value such that we can drive a lot of the decision making in real time. When it comes to the pandemic last year as an example, right? Just imagine we go back in time, back in end of January last year, and where the pandemic event hit us and hit the global supply chain. If we have analyzed the situation during that time and be able to drive the supply, enough supply to the supply chain, we will not be chasing a lot of the parts during when the pandemic hit us. Right. So the goal for us is really about how do we accelerate the decision making to the point where the event occurred and detected and triggered, be able to filter the event and be able to manage the event from start to closure. With that, right, that will give us a competitive advantage in terms of seeing all the potential problem around the world and be able to mitigate those events long before it happened. We can actually succeed together in terms of creating a new supply chain network that can orchestrate events in real time and be able to respond to and mitigate events in real time. With that, I'll pass it back to John. Thank you.
Hey, thank you, CW. And what I'd like to do now is maybe summarize some of what I've talked around this, the value of a digitally connected enterprise. And really what that implies is your ability to be able to strategize so you can actually imagine what your future is, but at the same time position for the realities as they occur. And so if I look across the digital, connected enterprise, some of the benefits I'm going to get is the first is I have much more proactive operations. I have the data that I need in order to make the right decisions, and I can anticipate some of those and be able to execute on those. The second area is I have insight-driven decision making. I actually have the right data and information to help me make good decisions. The third area is innovative product and services. I want to be able to innovate faster and recognize that as I transition from product to services, that I need to have all the information available to understand the market, to understand the potential, to get the feedback, and to be able to execute on these ideas. And then I can align and empower my workforce. I need to make sure that I have the right resources available at the right places. The reality is it's going to continue to get more complex. As I digitize my business, there are more and more skill sets that are required that understand, the ramifications of having AI-based decisions, the ramifications of having shared data and be able to act upon that data. And then the next area is around integrating with partners across the entire ecosystem. That means my customers, my suppliers, be able to tie these pieces together via a digital thread so that I can enable a completely seamless supply chain. And then finally, digitally enable processes across the enterprise. Again, this leads to this idea of automation. Automation really helps to improve the overall quality, helps to be able to minimize the latency, and helps me to execute better, faster decisions. So all of this, I allow myself to collaborate at a deeper level by basically harmonizing the teams and the technological operations, so I have one much more efficient operation. Thank you.